Hey guys. Today we've had two major pieces of news. So the first thing is that we have had the announcement of the Bushy Road Championship Series 2019, so the World Championship qualifier stuff, and there are some important changes. I don't think I think certain people are blowing it a bit out of proportion. I think they're very good changes, but I also think they're still a ways to go. So we'll go over those. And we also got a ton of card reveals on a reasonable amount of card reveals on the stream, which was unfortunately about an hour of bullshit and about 30 minutes of anything useful. That's still probably a bit too generous. Anyway, so we're having obviously you all know how World Championship qualifiers work. I am literally in this picture, but there, so that's unfortunate. Oh wait, you can't even see my mouse. I am in the top right picture, but I'm just cropped, which feels bad. But yeah, okay. So here's the major stuff. So they have removed the region lock, but not really. So now you can you're allowed to go. Let's say I'm in Singapore and the Singapore regionals is on. I'm allowed to go, even though I'm not a resident of Asia. I'm allowed to go. And if I win, I'll get my promo and everything, but I'm not allowed to keep a world's place, and that applies for first, second, and third. And, okay, so, firstly, the good, credit where credit's due, yes, they have technically lifted the region lock, but let's be a bit, critical here, and sort of, analyze why this isn't so good, is that, fundamentally, there is still no incentive for two reasons for me to actually go and take advantage of this lifted region lock. So, okay, number one, still nothing about improved price support, and I swear to God, the biggest problem with these events is just Bushy Road refuses to charge entry. I don't know why they think that tournament attendance will drop if they decide to charge. Yeah, okay, maybe it'll drop a little bit. I can't imagine it will drop more than 10%. If anything, I think more people will be incentivized to go to tournaments because there's actual prizing. Especially as someone who tops, these tournaments very frequently, there's genuinely no benefit. The difference between me and a casual player is that I get a top 8 map for about 1,000 extra hours of work. That's all I get. It's not really a worthwhile trade-off, is it? I'm sure I'm sure the Vanguard community has probably done this topic to death. I'm 100% sure there must be millions of videos on why Bushy just needs tournament support, because come on, we need to have a reason to go to these tournaments other than, okay, exalted flags are cool, but it would be really cool as well. Oh, you also get a case winning a tournament if there's 400, there's 200 people who entered. First place gets a case of the new set. Second place gets half a case. Third place gets half a case. Stuff like that, actual prizing. Okay, but fine. So So what's the other thing? The other reason is that you don't get to keep your world's place. So even ignoring the tremendous cost of going to this other region, and let's say to you, let's say a stroke of good fortune, you happen to be in that sort of general area, right? Okay, I happen to be within flying distance of Singapore when their region's coming up. For a few £100, I could make the trip. And some miracle, I come second, or I come third, or I win. Brilliant. Unfortunately, I don't get to keep my world's place. I get to keep everything else, but the world's place is kind of the most important thing there. It's not as if the winner promos have ever been any good besides exalted flags. Now, obviously, if that changes, I'll retract that statement, but I think it's unlikely to change. So there's no bloody reason. And the biggest thing about this is you could kind of do this already. Yeah, you couldn't officially do it, but I don't know if any of you have ever been to a tournament, you know that the only time you get asked to prove you're a resident of that region is if you win and there is some sort of travel on the line. They'll ask for your passport details and things. So there is no reason I could not go to Anaheim and be yeah, I moved to America and I got a resident here last week, right? They're not allowed, they can't go okay, where's your passport? Obviously I'm not going to put my passport with me. That's an unreasonable request. They'll be yeah, okay, cool, fine, whatever. then, you know, they will come to it if I win the event. But fundamentally, what you could just do was show up to the event, not say anything, just enter, play through, and if you win, just go, oh, sorry, I can't go. So the thing gets passed down, you get all your prizes, and no, nothing has changed. So, okay, officially something has changed, but practically nothing has changed. So there's my sort of 5 minute rant on that thing, like that initial thing, like, okay, it's step in the right direction, but it's about 10% of the way there, and you really need to step up Bushiroad because, you know, you got your tournament scene officially really needs, like, come on, just give us some decent pricing. You know, like, you look at what you got what Dragon Ball is doing. Dragon Ball has been a card game for just over a year, and their tournament is already miles better than anything Bushiroad is doing. Okay, and then the second change is something that I don't know why it hasn't existed, and in fact, I don't know why they only went this far. The winner of Worlds gets free sponsored invite to next Worlds. Fucking obviously, they should have got a free sponsored invite to next Worlds. Yeah, your world champion should be invited to go back. There should never be a situation when the world champion doesn't get an invite back. And in addition, I think they should have extended that the 2nd through 8th place also get an invite. So it's unsponsored, so they can win a sponsored invitation during the season if they can. Otherwise, you know, they can pay off their own back and go. I see no reason why you shouldn't extend that to the top 8 at Worlds. So I mean, yeah, okay, we got some good changes, but you know, really need a little more. In terms of the specifics and things, you know, we've literally just had the announcement. There's nothing on prize support. There's nothing on pricing. There's nothing on any of that. The only thing that... Okay, I think I'm in... Yeah. The only thing is, like, they are confirming, okay, you get a promo for entry, obviously. You get top 8 map for top 8. Top 4 get a certificate. Top 3 get a medal and invitation, that's the same as this year. And winner gets special champion promo and invite. Okay, I mean, this is all kind of stuff. Alright. So, that's enough of the World Championship stuff. We're still well in Springfest. I've only had one event. I've got another one in like 3 days. So, for me, I'm very much in Springfest mode. I'm not even really thinking about BCS. Okay, now we got, I think it's something like 10 cards revealed for IMAS, or 11 cards. So, let's get into that. Fuck the names. So, we have a 4-2-4. If there are 3 or more different types of idol on the field, and all idol on your field cannot be returned to hand by opponent's card effects and get +5/+5. Now, an important thing to also remember is that your flag will be buffing you by 2/2 for every card under it. So this is a big fucking boy. When this card attacks and there's a specific other one on the field, draw 1. And counteract if there are 2 specific other ones. Note different to the one that lets you draw. Then you can stand all idle on your field. So this is the one that, if it's also in play, you will draw off this one. If you have 3 more different types of idol, all abilities of idol's field cannot be nullified, and it's not crit. If there's a Honda Mio, which is not that one, all idol on your field will penetrate. And if there's a Shibuya-Rin and Honda Mio, so this is Shibuya-Rin, and Honda Mio in the field, destroy 1 character on your opponent's field. Sorry. Then Honda Mio, if there are 3 more different types of idol on your field, all idol on your field cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effect and get plus 10k power. So you are looking at some big fucking stats, like, already. At the start of your attack phase, if there's a Shibuya-Rin in the field, during this turn, all Shimaruzuki and Shibuya-Rin and Honda Mio get triple attack. So, that will apply for this one. Not the other one. Yeah, it will apply for this one. Okay, so those three. I think this might be a mistranslation. I'm pretty sure they should all be like there's your 3, right? You do your stuff within those 3. And all Shiruma, Izuki, and Shibuya-Rin on your field get +5/+5. So, wow. This is nuts. These stats are incredibly high. Immediately, I see absolutely no reason to play Bang Dream, like, at all. This deck isn't susceptible to loyalty. This deck has fucking bullshit stats. This deck has a flag that pluses you, but at the moment, spells seem way more fair. So, that's good. We'll come to the spells in a little bit, but I will also say I fucking love this cardboard. This looks really, really nice. Okay, and the last row we got Gothic Release. When your other character with idle enters the field, draw 2. It only activates once per turn, so we've got a nice little generic one here. And when this card attacks, and there's a stun more synergy here, if you have a specific other one, this card gets spent and double attack. So, size 3. Pull cost 3 gauge, put 3 cards from top of your deck into its soul, so big soul. And bearing in mind, you're going to have big fucking stats, so this is your body. If there's an Anzu Fukaba on your field, this gets plus 10k and plus 2 crit. During each player's attack phase, nullify all abilities of all cards on your opponent's field. Wow. Wow, that is... Whoa, okay. So against decks without an out ability notification, holy shit, that's strong. And size 0, counteract, you make all this card from your hand during attacking opponent's turn by playing 1 gauge. Change the attack to this card, and if there are face down cards in your body zone, this gets plus 5k and plus 1 crit. That's really good. And when this card is destroyed, you may pay 1 life. If you do, return this card back to your hand. So a 1 gauge 1 life redirector is definitely really nice because they got a spell that will, yeah, you'll see in a second. Sen Kawa Chihiro. It's an Epis. It's literally an Epis, except you can't, except without the Lost Rod thing, but you don't have to call it, so you literally just pitch it, and it's not once per turn. So yeah, that card is obviously amazing, and it's rare. Wow. What a start for IMAS. Looking really, really good, really strong. Unfortunately, it's just like the same kind of thing as, you know, like we've had 3 really, really similar decks now. Like we had Genesis Dragons, which is fundamentally I call the same 3 monsters, and that's kind of all I do. We have Bang Dream, which is 5 decks of I call the same board, and that's all I do. And now this is again going to be okay. I call the same board, and that's all I do. But I will say this is probably going to be the best of them because their flag is crazy. Their stats are going to be insane. All right, let's get started with the spells because these are fucking crazy. So, gauge 1, gain 1 life, draw 1, and then put this face down in the body zone, so your buddies will then all be getting +2/+2, and all the other synergies that will be to do with cards faced in your body zone. 16 build, Christ. So, pay 2 life, and choose one of the 3, and this is what's crazy. Either gauge equal to the amount of face down cards in your body zone. So, bearing in mind, like, at counter speed, so this is probably going to be like a gauge 5 like that. Like, basically instantly. Stand the same amount of character as the amount of face down card in your body zone. Bearing in mind that you can only have 3 monsters on board, this is basically just a board restand for all your monsters. And destroy the same amount of opponent's characters as the amount of face down card in the face zone. So you can't, with this wording, you won't be able to target the same thing twice. Otherwise, you could just bang, 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 rip the Vanity, the new one. But this is a really good card. The gauge effect is probably the best because you will just gauge 10 like instantly. 2 gauge during this turn, idle on your left and right cannot be destroyed, and damage is reduced by 2. Oh, that is a fucking strong card. Also, can we like this border? Oh my god, this cardboard looks amazing. Okay, and then we look at the top 3, add 1 to hand, gauge the rest, and put that card face down by the same. So a really strong spell. And just a little reminder again, why the flag is so amazing. Starting hand is 6 cards, 2 gauge. At the end of your turn, if your body's on your field, you gain a life, gauge 1, and draw 1. So you plus if you got a body monster, and if your body monster gets +2/+2, and that applies to all copies, right? So you can see the stats on your body are going to be through the fucking roof, very, very quickly. So yeah, this actually seems like a far more interesting deck than any of the others because at least like it's one of those ones that once you hit that late game, you're going to be really hard to deal with, but early game. You'll be a lot easier to deal with because you won't have all your crazy gauge set up, and I imagine we'll have to see how hard it pluses going first, but it also seems like you could very feasibly run the deck with just 3 calls and not really care. But yeah, okay, so there's the IMAS reveals, so really good stuff. So then we got 5 promos, and this is actually really good because now we have precedent for collabs getting like promos which appear to be cards from like additional cards that were not in the set. So Conan already had a promo which you get from going to, I believe it's Tsutaya, like a restaurant or something. But now we have this, you got Orange Storm and you get this promo. So I imagine we'll probably get these as like box offers or something if we get this second tool. And okay, so they all have so 4 of them have the same thing, and then Roselia has something different. So they all counter speed go into a soul, and they all have an after at the end of battle effect besides Roselia. Roselia just gets +3/+3 once in the soul. Then Poppin' Party, Eric, the card gains double attack. Hello Happy World, you gain 2 life. That's pretty important for it. Pastel Pallets, you burn 1, and Afterglow, you destroy or bounce monster. So yeah, I mean, these cards are good. You'll probably run them, but I think more important is you get that precedent. So now we can, if we never get any more main set support or booster support or anything for these, we can hope that we will get these sort of promo packs introduced, which will provide important staples that important generic staples, for example, that everyone else would have gotten. That, for example, Conan Money, or for example, Bang Dream Money. And this will also be a way to make sure they can keep those decks relevant, which I think is really important in something like this, because you've kept the power level fucking high. So they clearly want this stuff to be relevant for a while, but eventually it will be power creep. And I think it'll be good if they can introduce promos in such a way that to just creep, them a little more each time, to then constantly have them at a nice power level so they're always playable. That would be ideal. Will that happen? I don't know. And finally, we got some trial deck cards. So trial deck from Double Horus. Now, the important thing to note about these is if we open the picture here. So you have a look at this, right? And then we have a look at the one from the secret pack. And if we give that a cheeky little analyze, I believe, yes, they are different cards. So you can see this here is in the middle of the second block of text, but here it's right at the start there, and the text looks to be different lengths. So unfortunately, I was hopeful that Bushiroad would have done something intelligent and they would have put it in the trial deck so you can play it, but no. So I guess the implication here is, likelihood is, this is going to be you physically, the trial deck one's either going to be completely unplayable or the secret pack one's going to be completely unplayable. It's going to be one of the two, because you, in a body reliant deck like this, you can't have 2 like that unless you get some sort of way to body call using the other one. Anyway, we got some important cards here. So legendary. Oh, sorry, that's the Archpriest of Heaven Mosswan, 12/2/12. Core cost, discard 2 cards from hand. So obviously there are synergies there, but fucking hefty. If this card is in your center, reduce size of this monster by 1 for each monster on the left and right. Counteract, during each player's attack phase, you may call this card from your hand by paying the core cost. So yeah, this is a very decent card indeed. The fact you can countercall it means that you will definitely be stealing games with it. But again, it is a trial deck card, so unless you're discarding double Albador, that's a fucking feels bad one. Okay, then we got a size 1 4/12. When this card gets discarded from your hand, gauge 2. I ain't drawing, so I don't want to see it. When this card enters the field, if there are legend dragon on your field, you gain 1 life and draw 1, so that's really nice. And finally, the main one, we got our draw 2 for 1 gauge, gain 1 life, draw 2. So now this deck has at least 2 draw 2s, because you'll maybe 3 if you run Symbol Guard. Don't know if you do, but you've all got Yonagul Guard or something like that. So, yeah. Okay, so that's all the news. In summary, so the major things. Worlds 2019 announced, not that much change, more needs to, but a step in the right direction. IMAS is looking crazy good. Bang Dream got promos, so we have confirmed precedent for that happening. Then we got some new Legend World stuff from the trial deck, and obviously confirmed, unfortunately, that it's not reprinting stuff in Secret Pack. Yeah. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.